अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुब्रह्मा गुरुविष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्रीगुरवे देवा। य एको विभाति स्वतः शुद्धचेताः प्रकाशस्वरूपोऽपि नानेवधीषु शरावोदकस्थो यथा भानुरेकः स नित्योपलब्धिस्वरूपोऽहमात्मा। 8th verse. So we've been spending time with Hastamalaka, who is this little boy, 13-year-old boy, 8 years, 13 years, depending on the story. Even if he's 13, it's still a wonder. Right? A 13-year-old boy is standing in front of Bhagavan Adi Shankara and telling this. When he's asked to describe himself, who are you? Yarappa nee, engendha vanda, enga popora? The basic questions that anybody is asking, he's asked. But the answers that are flowing from this little boy is profound. And he's able to do this in front of Adi Shankara after many years of silence. He has been in complete um, um, he's been in complete maunam for many, many years. And he opens his mouth. Similar to we saw there are many such examples in history. Namarvar was such an example. Ramana was an example like that. Ramana, not exactly the same, but also he was a Mauni Swami for many years. Right? So there are such little boy wonders that have been there in our history. Nachiketa, Dhruva. Dhruva was much younger, age of 5. So this boy is really revealing his experience of what he is. That experience is coming out in the form of these 13 verses. And now he is going on to explain the presence of what he is experiencing himself as this universal consciousness. And he is seeing this. I had been to Shivananda Ashram in one of the yatras. Some of you had come, if you remember. We met this Swami Padmanabhananda. He is the general secretary there. So we went and we saw the Swami, we prostrated and we said Hari Om and all that. We spoke to the Swami and he had a Kerala accent. So I asked him, Swamiji, are you from Kerala? So then he said, this body comes from Kerala. Or to spontaneously respond like that, at some level there must be some experience there, right? That I am not the body. See, when you see children, when they're very young, they will talk about themselves in third person. Right? All many children you'll see when you're very young, about the age of maybe until 3 years of age, 3, 5, whatever. It depends on some children. They will, when they start talking, they will usually talk about themselves in the third person. They will not, for them to say, I want this, I want that, it takes a little while. The natural expression is, the child's name is Anu. So they'll say, Anu wants this, Hema wants this, Kalpaka wants this. This is how the child will say. Refer to itself with Yarda, the Hema Kalpakana. If you go look, it's referring to itself. So intuitively, we have a recognition that I am not this body. Although eventually over time we start associating to this body, this mind, and this personality that we are, saying that this is I. And so strongly establishing this. So strongly establishing this that to shake this off, there is fear. See, because the fear is, if I'm not this, then what am I? As though I'm just falling off from somewhere, there's no adhara, there is no support. But you think about it, what was it when you were a child, small child? How could you refer to yourself? Now, if you do that way, one, you are worried about what the world will think. If you go like this and talk to other people, Kailash goes and says to the wife, Kailash wants dosa today. So then she'll say, go ask Kailash to go to the restaurant. Tell me what you want. So suddenly we thought, so we have this inhibition that it will not feel appropriate, right? So there is a particular this thing. Mogambo Khush Hua. Yeah, this movie. There's this character refers to himself in the third person. So, like that, one, there is, of course, will there be a social acceptance? But the thing is that it's not about using those words. It's not about training ourselves. Okay, from tomorrow I may train myself to talk myself about third person. No, it is about realizing that as a fact. Realizing that I am now in this body, I was in some body, I could be in some other body, and this is possibly, now what this verse is saying is it's a reflection. Sharavodakastas yatha bhanurekaha. Bhanu ekaha. One bhanu, which is Surya, sharavaha. Sharavaha is a pot. Udaka is water. How the Surya reflects in the pot of water as different Suryas. Charavodakastho yatha bhanurekaha. Eka, Bhanu, Surya is one. It is reflecting in these multiple pots as different Surya. Now, interesting thing is, if I remove, suppose I have 10 pots, there is water and there is Velicha, Surya is there, and then there is reflection in the water. I bring a 11th pot. Does Surya have to do anything to reflect into the 11th pot? Nothing. There's no action required by Surya, correct? The 11th pot is there. Surya doesn't have to do anything for that reflection to appear. Why? Because whether the pot is there or not, Surya is there anyways. If I remove the 10th pot, of the 10 pots, I remove a 10th pot, does anything happen to Surya? Where is the reflection gone? Where is the reflection gone? It is like I stand in front of the mirror, Darpana Bhava, we spoke about this in the previous verse. When I'm standing in front of the mirror, I move away. I am here only. I have moved a little this side, but where is the reflection gone? Where did it appear from and where did it go? So in the same way, when there is a reflection in the water, where is it coming from and where is it going? So which means the astitva of that is only that much. The problem is that we think that there is a particular reality to it. We associate a particular reality to it. We are worried or we are joyous when it comes and we're worried when it goes. But the Surya light is anyways there. The pot coming and going is not going to affect the Surya. And if all the pots are gone also, Surya is still going to be there. And if I'm going to bring in 1,000,000 more pots, the Surya doesn't have to do a single piece of work. Sun doesn't have to do a single piece of work. By mere presence, it will reflect. So he says in the same way, ya eko vibhati swata shuddha chetaha prakasha swarupopi naneva dhishu In the same way, Nana iva dhishu, in all intellects, dhishu, saptami vibhakti, dhihi shu, plural saptami vibhakti, that in that intellect, prakasha swarupa, this prakasha swarupa that is there, this brilliant light or consciousness which is there, it is reflecting in so many intellects, as though in the same way as sun reflects in a pot of water. Which means a very important thing to note, whether I am there or not, things are going to be there. Right? Whether I exist or not, of course I exist, I continue to exist because I am Sanatana. But our worry and concern half the time is that only, right? Not half the time. 99% of the time, we are only in the preservation mode. We are in the mode of preservation. What happens if I am not recognized? What happens if I am not known? What happens if I am not acknowledged? What happens if nobody knows me? This fear is the greatest fear that we carry. This fear, if it breaks, we say that whether I am there or not there, I means this I that I think, this personality I, this person is there or not, the presence remains. This is what we saw the other day also, right? The presence remains. In the same way how Surya, we've spoken about this example. If the earth spins off into the galaxy, will the sun even care a bit? When a leaf falls off from a big tree, think the tree cares about it? So it is just like that. Our life forms are like that. It is important to know then, oh, am I insignificant? In one way, yes, you're insignificant. But from another way, another direction, another angle or perspective, you see, you're all of this. When you're filled with the consciousness of Krishna, then where are you? You are completely Krishna. When you are in full consciousness of Devi, you are completely Devi. So whether you're significant or insignificant, the problem is we are worried about being insignificant, or we want to be significant. This is where it is. You either become completely nothing or you become completely everything. We are in between. See, even reflections, what is the quality of the reflection? Assuming I am reflecting consciousness, the quality of the reflection is it on the source or on the reflector? It's on the reflector. If the water is turbid, dirty, the Surya, the light, however bright Surya it is, it can be Dubai's 55-degree open sun Surya. The water is turbid, it will not reflect. Or it will reflect in a very subdued way. But if the water is clean, it will reflect in the most beautiful way. So can I keep my water inside me in the most clean possible way so that I reflect Bhagavan? I reflect the cosmic consciousness in the most beautiful way. Not in my way. My work is only to make the water clean. Remove the kasade, clean the mirror. Reflection happens on its own. This is what they say. Self-realization is not something to achieve. You don't go and achieve self-realization. You do things that are required, it happens. In the same way, mirror, when you're cleaning, we don't have to do anything to the objects in the house for it to reflect. By virtue of a clean mirror, it will reflect. By virtue of clean water, it will reflect the light. In the same way, by virtue of cleansing ourselves, by virtue of clearing ourselves of all doubts, fears, anxieties, indecisiveness, lack of sankalpa, lack of focus, attention, we clean ourselves of all of this, that will shine by its own accord, because we are a conscious principle. Here we are a conscious principle. This principle that we are is of the same element, because it is it's reflected consciousness here. It is a reflected consciousness. Now, some philosophies will say this is not real, some philosophies will say this is real, but either ways, is reflection real? Yes, it is real. We can't rule out the fact that reflection is not real, but there is a limited reality. It is reality. The reality is constrained within the form for a time period, all of that. So he says, Ya ekaha vibhati swatah shuddha chetaha. It itself is shuddha chetaha, of pure consciousness. Prakasha swarupa api naneva dhishu. The light that comes from that consciousness is nana eva dhishu. In all intellects, it is shining equally bright. Sharavodakastha yatha bhyanurekaha. In the same way as Surya Bhagavan shines his light on a pot of water and reflects, sa nityopalabdhi swarupoham atma. That atma is shuddha, nitya shuddha chaitanya atma. We should practice this. Chumma, when you're walking, talking, doing something, suddenly you should just silently sit and think that I am this consciousness, I am this atma. That's it. So many things have happened in my life, this, that, other things will happen. Failure, success, grief, loss, anxiety, acquiring, losing, all of that has happened. But I am still here. I am this, I am here. Insult, praise, all of that has come and gone. I am still here. Think how liberating it is. Just bring your mind to that thought for 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 1 minute. It just feels suddenly, oh, which means all of this that I've created, that I worry about, I think about, actually, it will not stick to this. It'll come, go, come, go, come, go. It may not feel real because we are not used to it. We are not used to that feeling of saying that, yes, I am this. But even for a moment, you tell yourself that I am this, and you just observe yourself, you'll see there is a great deal of freedom that you'll experience. This freedom is present, it is innate, it is existing here. Action you are not doing to get freedom. Are you doing something to get freedom? Are you going and unlocking your chains and opening the doors? Nothing. You are just bringing in an idea. You are just bringing in recognition of a truth. And suddenly it feels, whoa. That is the 8th verse. 9th verse, he says, Yathaneka chakshuhu prakasho ravirna kramena prakashi karoti prakashyam anekadhiyo yastathaikah prabodha sa nityopalabdhi swarupo hamatma. Yatha aneka chakshuhu prakasho ravirna. How the Surya enlivens the chakshuhu. It gives light to the eyes. Kramena prakashi karoti prakashyam. Na kramena, actually. So the verse goes as Yatha Aneka Chakshuv Prakasho Ravihi Na Kramena Prakashi Karoti Prakashyam Na Kramena, which means it doesn't do it gradually. Na Kramena Prakashi Karoti Prakashyam. It does not gradually lighten up something. You would have heard the saying, there is a cave which is 1,000 years completely in darkness. You walk in with a lamp. How long does it take for that place to lighten up? 1,000 years of darkness, it should at least take 1-2 years. It seems so illogical, right? Because in our experience, light immediately illuminates, instantaneously illuminates. All you require is to bring that light, take that light, turn that torch. Correct? So it does, it says na kramena prakashi karoti prakashyam. It does not kramena, slow, gradual, progressive. Kailashi, progressive modernization. we keep selling this everywhere.
Transformation, all this.
Progressive transformation. There is no progressive. You listen to Jiddu Krishnamurti, he'll say, what are you talking about? It is here right now. I'm just pointing to it. I'm using words to point to it, but you have to look at it. It may not happen as a Big Bang experience. Some it may not. Most it may not. Because, see, the problem of that light turning on is also with us only. The default switch is turned off. There are switches when it become loose. See, in US, the switches are in the opposite direction. You have to bring them, I think, up or something like that to turn it on or something like that, right? Usually in our case, switch goes like that. The US, you have to push it up. And also secure reasons where it's a little more difficult for it to push it up. But then if that thing is loose, it'll automatically come down. You push the switch up, it'll automatically fall down if it's loose and not in control. That is our default state. We turn it on a little bit, we listen, we talk, we do this, we do dhyanam, we go to sankirtanam, we listen to satsang, we go to a temple, we sit down in a serene environment, in a very calm, peaceful place. Suddenly, for a little moment, that switch turns on. The environment helps you to turn it on. There's no doubt about it. But to keep it turned on is our effort. At the Kiri Virama, you should put some sellotape, something, some blue tack.
விழுந்துருமோங்கிற பயத்திலே
Switch அப்படியே பிடிச்சின்னு
அடுத்த 20 years அதுல மேடம்.
So that effort is to turn it on and hold it there. And not give up if it falls down. That's also another thing. 100 times it may fall down. 101st time we pick it up again, turn it on. Because we know that this light illuminates. Prakashi karoti prakashyam. Na kramena karoti. It doesn't do it gradually. That moment when there is this sense, this understanding, this recognition, it's like a wave of breeze that hits you. You're like, "Phew, wow." It's like that. Then he says, Aneka dhiyo yastathaikav prabodha sanityopalabdhi swarupo mahatma. So in the same way, he says, how Surya through Aneka Chakshuhu, Yatha aneka chakshuhu prakasho ravihi. In millions of eyes, Surya's light is the one that is powering it. In the same way, the same consciousness is powering all the intellects, all the minds, all the bodies, all the individuals. The same consciousness. For us, it doesn't make really sense. It's not too much of sense it is making, right? Same consciousness drives everybody. Fine. What is this? What do I do with this knowledge? What is this knowledge in practical? What is the practical purpose of this understanding? One is that all those Mahatmas who have claimed to be realized and great gurus and Mahatmas, it means to say it is accessible to you also. It is the same principle, consciousness principle, that is accessible to you also. So immediately it gives you a general sense of empowerment. This knowledge should give us a sense of empowerment because yes, it is shining through my intellect. The same principle is shining through my intellect. Then some may feel that, oh, but I am not as intelligent as the other person. I'm not as brilliant. I'm not as, I don't understand this as much as other people. That is the quality of the intellect. Let it be. Why bother? See, the most simplest lady in a village, if you would go, many of us would have had this experience. You go, you see very, very simple people, simple village or something. They'll do something so intuitively, so beautifully. Even our intellect wouldn't have grasped it or approached it or thought that, oh, I wouldn't have thought of it this way. Which is why we always emphasize on, in our group, we emphasize on intuition more than intellect. Our journey should go more towards intuition. How do I live an intuitive life? Not about sharpening. The intellect may get sharpened in the process, may not. See, the important thing to know, Swami Vivekananda could pick up a book and do a glance like this, 600 pages he could read, and then the author of the book asked, tell me what is written on 243rd page. He will tell the whole paragraph that is written on that page. And the book was in German. And Swami Vivekananda obviously doesn't know German. But there's a demonstration of the power of the intelligence that is operating through his intellect. But that is not true of everybody. Obviously, you went to Ramana Maharshi and you spoke in French. Nobody has had an experience that he has responded in French. நீங்க இவ்வளோ பேசுறேன் பிரெஞ்சில் பேசி காமிங்கோ அப்படின்னு போய் who is asking me to speak in French அப்படின்னு சொல்லி ஒரு ட்விஸ்ட் போட்டுருவார். The person will run away. So that is not the point. It will express in itself in whatever form it chooses to. In some people, it expresses as compassion. Some people, it will express as intelligence. Some people, that intelligence will express as the intellect shining or the intellectual property within an individual. For some people, it will come out as an art form. In some people, it will come out as something else. Some people, it will come out as silence. It's a paradoxical statement. Silence doesn't come out, but yet you can experience silence in somebody, right? When somebody is utterly silent, you can experience that silence. So when this is shining, this Ravihi, the Surya is shining through all of this, it doesn't necessarily shine in the exact same way in everybody. So The empowerment it gives you that, oh, this consciousness is the same consciousness that everybody is speaking about, and I also have it, it's expressing through me. Recognize, give attention, turn the switch on, pay attention. We will see that how it is expressing through you. We want it to express the way we want it to express, like that person, like this person, like that person. This is the problem. Paramahamsa Yogananda could keep his eyes open and meditate. Only if I'm able to do that, it is good, or I'm spiritually better. Those are all, you're measuring yourselves to the wrong things. We should let this operate through us. See, even if you're sitting in a Nama Sankirtanam, suppose there is a bhajan that is happening, some Sankirtanam is happening on some this thing, some Krishna, Ambal, Narasimha, somebody it's happening. Sitting and just experiencing that grace and presence, can you let that consume you? That is also turning the switch on. If you let that consume you, you'll know it is the same consciousness that is there. See, if you go to this Nanganallur Hanuman temple, I have narrated this experience of mine. You go to the Nanganallur Hanuman temple, Sayangalam, this is our evening time, or I think, about 4 o'clock or so, they open the Thirai. There's a lot of queue, people gather and all that. They open the second half of the day, they open the door, huge door. There's a 32 feet Hanuman standing there. And when the door opens, it is really very, very overwhelming, that sight. You really feel small. And you see this Hanuman like that, and that big Hanuman is standing like this. That is the other thing. He himself doesn't know his greatness. Or he knows, and hence he is humble. One who truly knows will be humble. So he's standing there, such a great, grand figure, and you know that there is grace flowing from there. And you're standing there, you should let yourself get drenched. Correct? What should we do? தோப்பு கண்ணம் போட்டு ஐயோ அனுமாரி எனக்கு இது பண்ணி கொடு அது பண்ணி கொடு ஒரு 20 பெட்டிஷன் அங்கே போட்டு யூ புட் a lot of those things, losing the moment. Can you just get drenched there? It's like a torrent. You should visualize this way, that there is a full gush, அது ஓப்பன் பண்ணா அப்படியே ஒரு gush of water just flowing out. என்ன பண்ணுவோம் அப்போ? What do you do? Just stand there and get drenched. அவ்வளவுதானே. When that happens, whatever happens to you, whatever, sometimes it will be tears that will flow. Sometimes it will be just joy. Sometimes it will be peace. Sometimes it will be silence. You don't know how that will express through you, through this form. Prakashi karoti prakashyam. You let that prakasha, let it engulf and get through you. This is what it means. What it means is there is a supreme consciousness, it's enlivening everything, it is also through me. So what do I do with that? This is what you do. You let it operate through you. And there are glimpses we all experience. All of us who are in this satsang now have all experienced. We are not talking about people who have not had this experience or recognized this experience. Everybody would have had it. How many would have recognized it? We are all blessed to have recognized this experience in our life so that we can resonate. When I'm giving an example, there is a resonance. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And you don't have to even go to a temple. There are people who go up to a hill or go stand in front of the ocean. You have a similar experience. You have to let yourself be immersed in that. So he says, Yatha aneka chakshuhu prakasho ravihi na kramena prakashi karoti prakashyam. Aneka dhiyo, in different intellects, yas tathaikah prabodha, that which is shining through sanityopalabdhi swarupo hamat. It is that eternal self. Vivasvat prabhatam yatha rupam pragruhnati nabhatam evam vivasvan yadabhata abhasa yatyakshamekah sanityopalabdhi swarupo hamatma. Vivasvat prabhatam. So he is extending this now. He said, as how this Vivasvat, this bright illumined sun, prabhatam, yatha rupam aksham, how it, when the Surya is there, when the light of the sun is there, the eyes can see rupa. And when the light is not there, by what light? Yad abhata, abhasa yatyakshamekah. Without that light, how do you see? By whose light the Surya gives light to our eyes. So I'm reminded of the Ekashloki. I think Mama's favorite Ekashloki.
இல்லை நானும் அதான் நினைச்சேன் குருஜி. அந்த அதான் வந்து இந்த எம்ஜிஆர் வந்து கேப்சூல்ல ஒரு மின்னலை வந்து கேப்சூல்ல அடக்கிடுவாரு. அது மாதிரி சங்கராச்சாரியர் வந்து அந்த ஒரு ஸ்லோகத்துல என்டையர் வேதாந்தா அடக்கிட்டாரு.
So this Hastamalakas, this verse is almost similar to this Ekashloki. I'll just say this Ekashloki. Kim jyotistava bhanumana hanime ratrau pradipadikam syad evam ravideepa darshana vidhau kim jyotirakyahi me chakshustasya nimilanadi samaye kim dirdhayo darshane kim tatrahamato bhavan paramakam jyotistadasmi prabhu. So it is a conversation between just one verse, okay? There's just one verse in which conversation between the Guru and Sishya. So Guru is asking, which light helps you to see? Then the Sishya says, in the daytime it is sun, in the light time maybe moon or the lamps. Then he asks, with the aid of which would you see the sun and the lamp? With sun you see things in the day. At night you need a lamp or light, or you need moonlight, whatever. So you use that is the light with which you see. But with which you see the sun and the moon and the lamp? He says the light of the eyes. It is by the eye, O Gurudeva. Then he says, but when you close your eyes, how do you see? Then he says, when I close my eyes, I'm able to see from my mind. Then he says, but how do you see your mind? Because you're able to see your mind also through the intellect. How do you see your intellect? You know your intellect is working now, it is dull, it is bright, it is this, that. Then he says, that I know through myself, the I. So then Guru says, that you are. Drigdrishya Vivekaha. There's another beautiful work. We should probably do it sometime by Swami Vidyaranya. So he takes in one verse, Bhagavan Adi Shankara has shown how the Guru has taken the Sishya from the outside to the innermost. So Hastamalaka Swami is talking the same thing. Vivasvat prabhatam yatha rupam aksham. Whatever gives light to be able to see the form. How do you see that light? Pragrihnati nabhatam evam vivasvan. How do you see vivasvan? Yad abhata abhasi yatyakshamekah. That ekah, that which you see, sa nityopalabdhi swarupo hamatma. It is by the Atma's light that you're able to see this. Na tatra suryo bhatira chandra tarakam. Kathopanishad. Nema vidyuto bhati kutoyam agnihi. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvam idam vibhati. My guru uses this in the Aarti every time. It is a beautiful verse. Learn it and you can use it in your Aarati, Deeparadhana that you do. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. Na ema vidyuto bhati kutoyam agnihi. Where does the light, Surya gets its light, Chandra gets its light. That itself doesn't get its light from itself. What about this Agni? Kutoyam agnihi. Tameva bhantam anubhanti sarvam. That which lightened up lights everything. Tasya bhasa sarvam idam vibhati. That light is always shining here within you. Idam vibhati. So this is the experience that Hastamalaka is having. He is continuing to have. He is in that continuous state. His light is turned on. Switch is turned on. Perfect condition. This is an Indian switch. So by default is on. Indian switch on pantakku mela pogadilla. It's like the Indian switch. So this experience of his, he's just communicating it out freely to Bhagavan Adi Shankara. Because he's feeling safe. He knows that he will not think of me as a jada, as a mudha, like other people are thinking. Even Bhagavan Adi Shankara is very intuitive. See, he goes to Kashi and he says mudha mate to everybody. But when he's looking at this boy, he's not saying mudha mate. It's bhaja govindam, govindam bhaja mudha mate. Here he is not saying mudha mate. The child is silent, appears as though he's dull, not bright, not talking, not communicating. But the way the words are coming out, instantly he knows. Boss, he is not a normal person. And he is feeling that love towards the boy, because Adi Shankara himself was, when he was a small boy, he had a similar, he was in that state of consciousness experience. He narrated the same thing to his guru. Right? Same thing, Madhura Kavi Alvar, only when Madhura Kavi Alvar went to Nammalvar, he opened his mouth. Said, okay, here is a man who will be able to understand what I have to say. Right? 1,000 Divya Prabandhams came out. So their state, so now what is important for us is, as we close today, is to recognize this consciousness is all around, all pervading. It is not just inside, it is not just outside, it is in both. Antar Jyoti, Bahir Jyoti, Pratyak Jyoti, Parat Paraha. Atma Jyoti, Swayam Jyoti, Jyotir Jyoti, Namo Namaha. This Antar Jyoti is also outside, that outside is also inside. But we need to experience this. Now, it is not about how is this outside, inside. It is about recognizing that intuitively I can call upon this consciousness within me. I can intuitively turn on the switch within me. I can intuitively recognize this within me if I'm able to hold myself in that silence with sankalpa, with my willpower, with my conscious effort. I can do this. All those people, Bhagavan, if you put a photograph of a guru, of 100 gurus and say, oh, guru, 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 then they will remain in the photo and you will be here only. We should know that we can become that. We can be in that state. Mukundamala Stotram, we did Kulasekara Alvar's state, we can be in that state. Ramana Maharshi's state, we can be. It is possible. It gives you a great sense of empowerment. And when you experience that a little by little, there is also a freedom that rises. Right? Vairagya eva abhayam. There's a beautiful verse in Vairagya Shatakam by Bhartrahari. We'll do that in the Yatra. But Vairagyam eva abhayam. Vairagyam alone gives you complete freedom from fear, anxiety, everything. Sankalpa, Vairagya. Okay, so we'll pause here today. Om Kayena Vacha Manasendriyerva Buddhyatmana va Prakrite Swabhavat Karomi Yatyat Sakalam Parasmai Narayanaayeti Samarpayami Sadashivayeti Samarpayami Jagadambiketi Samarpayami Sadgurunathayeti Samarpayami Hari Om Tat Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Vasudeva Narayana.